Welcome to Sir Francis Online Tuition. I'm happy to have you here, and if this is the first time of you watching, I want you to share my video, comment on them, so that I can make and improve videos in the upcoming series. What we'll be considering today is further adjustment of account. Further adjustment of account. Specifically, we'll be looking at accrued expenses appearing at the beginning of the year. But before I move on, it's very prudent for me to give a little explanation on what is meant by accrued expenses, because it might be a first time of some of us hearing such terminology in accounting. So in accounting, when you say accrued expenses, we are talking about expenses that we've already enjoyed the benefits, but payment is yet to be made. Okay, so maybe within the year 2000, we rented an apartment costing, let's say, 5,000 for the whole year, which is 12 months. But we've paid 2,500 out of the 5,000. So the remaining 2,500 has to do with an accrued expenses. And that expenses could be appearing at the beginning of the year, or it could be appearing at the end of the year when the question is given to you. So that is what we are going to consider for the day. And expenses appearing at the beginning of the year when the question is given to you, and have such a scenario. How do you go about it? Okay. So I'm just going to take you through, and at the end of the day, all of us will be happy with such questions. Okay. Or when we meet some questions like that or like this, we will not find ourselves wanting. Now, as a student, when you are given a question concerning trading and profit and loss accounts, and you have to present profit and loss account for a particular year, after the question given in the trial balance, you'll be given an additional information. That's where most students find it's very difficult to do it. Okay, because all the tricks will be stipulated, or you find all the tricks under the additional information. Okay, so this particular topic will help us to appreciate that. So if able to understand whatever that we are going to do over here, when you get a question like that, it will be much easier for you to score, or the maximum marks that will be allocated to a particular question. So further adjustments of account, for me, I term it to be workings. Okay, some workings that you need to do on the item on the face of the trial balance. So your sales, there will be information relating to the sales. Maybe the sales figure has been overstated. Okay, and maybe the owner has made some drawings, or some goods has been taken by the owner. So all these information, petty information, will be found under the additional information. So how do you go about them? And one of the things that you'll be seeing under the additional information has to do with expenses. Maybe it's expenses owing at the beginning of the year, expenses owing at the end of the month, or at the end of the year. How do you treat those items? That's what we're going to be looking at. So if you check the example 1.1, it says that in the year 2001, rent paid which was credited to the cash book was 20,000 Ghana cedis. It means expenses paid for the year 2001, the total expenses that they paid was 20,000. And of course, per your double entry principle, if you pay something by cash, you have to credit your cash book account. So that's why the question says that it was credited to the cash book. Okay, so the total expenses for the year, or total expenses that it was paid in that year, which is 2001, was 20,000. Now rent owing at 1st January 2001 was 5,200. Okay, so at the beginning of the accounting year, which is 1st January 2001, was 5,200. So how do you treat this item, this particular item, which is expenses owing at the beginning of the accounting year? How do you treat it? What does it mean? How do you understand it? Okay, what it means is that when we are coming from 2000, the year 2000, we were still having some expenses that we couldn't finish paying. Okay, so this 5,200 is relating to the previous accounting year, which is the year 2000. And since we couldn't make payment for that, it is standing in our books as owing or accrued expenses. So it has been brought forward in the current year, and it is appearing at the beginning of the accounting year. And according to the matching concept, all expenses relating to a particular year should be matched against revenue for that year. Okay, so you cannot bring, let's say, 2009 expenses in 2001 and you say I'm come to treat it in 2001 as an expense. No, the matching concept doesn't permit us to do that. It says that all expenses for a particular year should be matched against all revenue for that year. So this amount that we have in our books, which has to do with 5,200 relating to the previous accounting year, is not part of 2001 expenses as rent. So this amount that we paid here, which is the 20,000, 5,200 is not an inclusive. It should be taken out. The 5,200 is relating to the previous accounting year. It's not part of the current year expenses. And the current year that we are looking at is what? The year 2001. But as at the beginning of the year 2001, we are having an expenses relating to the previous year, which is 2,000. And because we've not made payment for that, we have brought it forward in our books. But according to the matching concept, this 5,200 cannot be added to this year expenses. But the expenses that we've paid for 2001 is amounting to 20,000. So out of the 20,000, some part of it, which is 5,200, is relating to the previous year. So you have to take it out. Okay, if you include it in this year's account, it means you are violating the matching concept. You are going against the matching concept. So all what I can say for now is that expenses, whether paid or not, relating to previous year should be taken out from the current year expenses. All expenses relating to previous accounting year, whether being paid or not, should be excluded from the current accounting year that you are considering. So here the current accounting year that we are considering is for 2001, but this amount is relating to the previous year, which is 2000. So the 5,200 should be taken out of the total amount that we've paid for the current year, which is 20,000. I hope you've gotten it. In the upcoming video, I will show you how to present this transaction in the TV form account. But I'm just giving an explanation on that for now. But in the coming video, I will show you how to present this transaction in a T form account. Okay, so this 5,200 will be taken out from this amount, which is the 20,000 Ghana cedis, because the 5,200 is relating to the previous accounting year, and because we are using the accounting principle which says that all expenses relating to a particular year should be matched against the revenue for that year. I hope I've made myself clear for you to understand it. If you think you are still confused about my explanation, you can leave a comment and I will attend to you. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the upcoming video.